I am. I think we are. How are you, Bonnie?
Hey, Dawn, I'm great. How are you?
You know, Bonnie, I'm starting to feel like we've been um, in this COVID thing. We're coming out now. It's been 3 years. And I'm going to take you back to a time when we were growing up with Judy McCoy as our national sales director. And she introduced something to us called the On the Go. Do you remember when we first heard about On the Go?
On the go.
And, and Bonnie, what did it do for us?
It allowed us to not necessarily have a long selling appointment with someone, but to have a quick showing, like show and tell.
Yes. Yes. You're going to sneeze. Bless you, Bonnie. Bless you.
I had a mint, and you know what? Sometimes that does it.
That's okay.
But my breath is very fresh on this little video. I knew you'd want to know that.
I can almost
smell funny. It's so funny because when we go on these videos, like we get ready and our face, of course, you see our face, but like I put perfume on. It's funny because, you probably can't smell my fragrance, but you know what? I can, and I love it. So.
Well, yeah, I think it is what it is, isn't it?
It is. So on the goes were quickie little selling appointments. You could take new products, do like a quickie on the go with new products. You could do a quickie like miracle set, like do a hand facial. There were just all little ways. You could carry a basket or carry a little tote that just had quick things in it, and you could see them. Now the difference, today we're going to talk about 5 and 15, but I want to say the difference between that and now, the on the goes and now. On the goes, we always did in person. We're now, since 3 years ago, we can do them in person or we can do them virtually, and it works out super. I just had one last week that I met with someone.
Well, and I just think, Bonnie, for our consultants who are listening, it's a way that, let's say somebody is interested, like you have her curiosity piqued, and this could be about products or this could be about the opportunity. You could say, Bonnie, would you share with me 15 minutes? Could we just do a virtual chat where I can answer 5 of your questions? Or like maybe they want to hear about clinical solutions. Do you have 5 minutes so I can tell you about retinol and the 4 boosters? So it's a way that you can almost plant the seeds. And once they listen, they're at least want to engage with you. Does that make sense? And I think sometimes it's almost like when you are walking down, well, when we used to go to malls to shop, and somebody would be standing out at a kiosk and they would ask you a question, and you would turn around. You have that split second. And then once they say yes to meet with you for 15 minutes, then you can ask questions. You can find out more about them. And it's just great. But it's even for a spare time consultant, this is something that you could do.
Well, I think what it has proven, typically, if somebody said, can we get together? When you just use that phrase, you probably think you have to invest at least an hour.
Oh my God. No.
Clean the house.
Yes.
Whatever. You think it has to be a long appointment.
It
does not. So what this has done is change the thinking a little bit, that you can have an appointment and it doesn't have to be a whole afternoon or a whole evening. It can be 15 minutes in and out and done.
In and out, and it's easy and it's fast. And I remember one time when I had a customer say to me, I asked her if she had any questions about something. And she goes, I don't really have any needs, but she goes, well, wait, I would like something that would help me keep my eyeshadow on longer. And I said, well, I do have a few things that I could recommend to help you keep your eyeshadow. Can we just, and then I drove to her house to sell her a $12 eye primer, but she did become a customer of that. But could you imagine just, showing her maybe the liquid eyeshadows, the eye primer, and maybe even showing her finishing spray while in a 5 and 15. So, I mean, it can be very versatile, and it can be very streamlined as to what somebody's needs are.
And I think if you took, for those of you who have developed customers, or you even have a handful or preferred customers, if every quarter you contacted them and you said, Dawn, would you have 15 minutes? Is there any reason why we couldn't get together for 15 minutes virtually or in person to give you a peek at what's new? It's just, they'll get used to that and they'll know what it is. And I think typically people don't expect it to only be 15 minutes. So I think it is a really good,
I think it's one of those things you honor the 15 minutes, but if she extends it, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think it's like your doctor appointment. Like right now, you can't get a prescription refilled unless you see your doctor every year. So, I mean, I do think some customers would do it quarterly. Some might do twice a year. Some might do 3,
Mm-hmm.
some might do 4, but it is a way of, especially you're out of town. So if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a lot of time to do customer service, it's a great way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Bonnie, that's sales wise. But what happens if you like someone and you would like to layer on an opportunity? And if you said to them, Bonnie, I have a mascara for you. I have a lip gloss for you. Can we just meet for 15 minutes? Can you ask me 5 questions about either what I do in Mary Kay, how I make my money, or something about Mary Kay Cosmetics? Would you do that for me?
I would do that for you.
Yes. So could you imagine if you did those, it would be a way of layering information onto your customer as to what the company does. It'll make them a more informed user. They can be a talent scout for you. And what happens, Bonnie, if 6 months from now, something changes in her life and she goes, let's ask Bonnie more about the career opportunity. So I just think that's a great way to layer information on people.
I think it's quite surprising sometimes, the questions that they come up with. So, years ago we had a little book or a little pamphlet, a little brochure, and we just told you what was on there. Now to say to somebody, could I take 15 minutes and have you ask me 5 questions about the career opportunity or what I do? I think it's so cool, the diversity of what comes out of that. Yes. And what they wonder about and what questions they have. And it just gives them information that they want to know, not just what we want to tell them, but what they want to know.
Yes. I just think it's a great way. And I think for any consultant, if somebody says to me, they don't have time, I just look at them and say, you don't have time even to take an hour to do 4 of these. I said, can you imagine what that would do for your business? And some of it is, I just heard National Sales Director Christian Sharp talk about showing up and the consistency of showing up. So let's say you say on your date book, you're going to do 2 of these a week. Could you imagine if you made 8 connections and if they were sales related or opportunity related, what that would do for your business? In 3 months, that would be 24 people. What would that do?
And 2 a week. That's like a half-hour investment.
I'm just saying, but I mean, and that is just for, let's say if you just did that, but if you were somebody more doing this part-time, and just say that maybe you pick two 1-hour spots and you could do 2 of those, because that way with prep time, things like that, but you're not even leaving your house. You're not driving around. In the olden days, we used to drive around. So there were some times where I would do an appointment from 6 to 7, and then I would do an appointment from 7:30 to 8:15. And I would drive like to 2 places in Germantown or in Mequon, just because I was really desiring to grow my business. So, yeah.
And we drove around before GPSs.
Oh, stop. Stop. Don't go there.
That's a whole nother.
Yes, that was nasty.
That's a history lesson.
Yes. All right, Bonnie, until next week. Yes. And I wish anybody watching this Consultant Confident in the future, I'm going to say happy St. Patrick's Day too. So, yes. So, all right, friends.
Remember, looking great isn't just luck.
Yeah.